What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Orion Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a couple of fantastic battles were had. One Ellen Delling's debut that we just barely managed to win. Definitely the closest battle in this campaign so far, and an exciting first battle for Ellen Delling, who, unlike the original Daith, now Nath, replaced by Daith, too, actually got Leafborn Savant, which is a decent trait. But anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time around, we've taken now the Forest of Gloom. We are about to take the guy in Vale as soon as we kill off Baronair, or as soon as he attacks us. As we end the turn, we've also gotten the Jungles of Qian, and we're going to start getting those trees nice and healthy so that we can thereafter activate their rituals, get the Amber resource, which we still haven't had any of. I haven't been focusing on it, admittedly, too hard, but anyway, get some of that good stuff and activate those rituals, which will give us more nice battles for all of our new armies. Anyway, let's begin with whatever it is we have to do right now. So first of all, Dotan, you need to return to the Oak of Ages. So we'll deep roots you back, like so. All right, then. Need to take any units from anybody? Okay, you know what? Go here. Okay, it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on. Go here, and then we'll transfer to you just a couple of the units you're missing. We need to transfer the War Dancers. You can hold on to the War Dancers for now, like so, and then you can start traveling this way. We are most likely going to have to deal with Ungrol's Stoneheart, so you're going to move to Paravon. Circo. I mean, I guess we'll send a Skura to grab units from Ara afterwards. Oh, and we've also got additional units here. Can Circo go over there faster? Sort of, but not really, I would say. Let me just see if he is needed anywhere else. Okay, you two are good for now. Would have loved to get Nath over here, but that's not going to happen anymore. At least not until the next Wild Hunt is up and running. We do still need to take out Kugath. I actually wonder who he's been fighting this whole time. Northern, Western provinces, and the Knights of Calidor, who just still alive despite the fact that they've been surrounded by enemies by themselves. But it is Imric, so I do expect great things for him. Still got to get the Sacred Pools in the Witchwood, but you know. We're working on it. We need the number of armies sufficient to defend all trees before we do. Anyway, I guess Dave, unless there's anybody else that can move. You two probably can't. I guess we can transfer to you this. We don't really need Zoltothios, but, you know, stick around. And I believe if Daith is the only one, then we're going to move in and attack. Unless we want to send Circo somewhere. I could always just use him to recruit at the Crags of Findal. If there's anything. Well, we won't be able to recruit anything here until it reaches tier 3, so a little bit until... Okay, well, he can wait, I guess. And maybe transfer some units. You know, just go to Crags of Findal. And Dulas, stay here, because I don't know which army I'm going to put you in as yet. I mean, I have some ideas, but it'll happen eventually. Anyway, we're going to declare war on Mr. Nash here. Declare war. Don't bother calling your allies to help. And now this time, assuming that nobody else needs to move, which I'm pretty sure I'm correct about this time, we can attack. Alrighty, now to reduce the casualties, we'll fight this. This army is down to half HP, but there are some giants, and these are all Savage Orcs, including Savage Orc Biggins, so it might still warrant a bit of a fight here. This does take us away from the Forest of Gloom, so hopefully these guys won't be able to attack us, but at the same time, no guarantees. Oh. And I probably don't need the guard platform as well as the forest lookouts. Just the one should be sufficient, I would wager. Yeah, we're probably better off just building the Roots of Gairan. And just get more spell singers. We really need the frickin' research rate. At 160, it's going to take too long to get the rest of this and all of this. There's a lot of stuff that we have to get research-wise. Granted, it's only turn 45, so it's bound to ramp up. But nonetheless, go. Go after Nash. Or is it Gash? No, it's Nash. It's got a sort of striking, so nothing too worth stealing. We will fight this. Let's see how those giants with their 50% missile resistance and 10% physical manage to take our bows before we fight the Savage Orcs. Go. Alrighty, onward indeed. Let's see how many arrow shots it takes to bring one of those savage giants down. And it does look like it can eat the arrows of Ruinous for days, as it took about 2 of them and only lost, what, like a 10% of the HP that it had started with? Not great. In addition to that, by focusing it down, we got the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins and charging at us. That's a heck of a long unit name, incidentally. And we do countercharge them with the Wildwood Wardens. They do activate their smoke screen ability, whatever the heck is this thing is called, smoke bomb ability, stopping the enemy charge and preventing them from taking too much damage. They rip into this Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins and rip them apart relatively quickly and begin chasing them down. Enemy trolls heading towards us, who we're going to target with our range units now instead of the giants, simply because the trolls are charging, looking to help out against our Wildwood Wardens, but pretty impressive with the way they took that charge. Otherwise, we're generally deployed up on top of this hill. We have a nice sort of a set of cliff sides, essentially protecting our units and protecting the relatively vulnerable range units inside. We have also hidden away 3 of our most hurt units from the previous battles, as we obviously don't want them further damaged. Anyway, Wildwood Rangers and Wardens will charge on in. The Wardens of Sithral will meet the Savage Orc Biggins in combat, while one of our heroes, one of our Glade Captains, will block the Savage Giant off. And said Savage Giant will break, but there are 2 more where that came from, heading towards us. Not to worry though, Wardens and Rangers alike will be able to hold the hill, though the Giant will present a more frightening or more threatening proposition. Fortunately, it does tower above the rest of our units, and we can hopefully snipe it down. I think it was, at the end of the day, probably a good choice to include some range units in this army, just to be able to snipe off the giants. Certainly, we do have anti-large on our Wildwood Rangers, rather, but they also want to be able to, well, they're probably better, they're going to be much better at dealing with cavalry, I think, whereas for the single entities, we've got these guys. Plus, of course, the Glade Captains as well. A few arrows of Ruinous, a few range shots, etc., etc. And the giants go down. And speaking of going down, it looks like the enemy force is just about done for. One more useless charge from the Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And the Wildwood Rangers bring them down, or shatter them with the rest of the forces. I expected this to be a relatively small battle, but at least this way, and especially by forcing the enemy to attack us, essentially, well, there's a few casualties, but probably not many. Alright, nice little fight reward-wise, about 4k, so not too bad. Total, the enemy army is destroyed. We did take a little bit of damage, but nothing crazy. We just really need a caster in this army, and for that, we need capacity, which we are working towards. Release captives. As weird as, once again, that feels. Faction destroyed Skull Takers, enemy killed in battle. Now you... Masterful Ambush. You know what? Go into Masterful Ambush and then sit. It's a likelihood that we can go after these guys. We could try to jump up here. Can we defeat them before Barag Dawazbag hits us again? I mean, we could send Loren this way. We don't necessarily have to send Death this way, but I do want to clear the area around Karazakarak if possible. You know, we'll see what happens. Ooh, what if these guys try to go after Akendorf? Well, you know what, I still feel like we should destroy Snorko Old Weirdy to destroy their faction, although I suppose we are at war with them, and them being around isn't necessarily a bad thing. Stay here. Stay somewhat nearby. Alrighty, and that looks good. And I believe with that we are out of not time, but turn, as there's nothing else to do here. There were a few things that we couldn't afford, but I do believe we're building pretty much everything that we can build at the current time. You could build another Wild Rider if you wanted to. If we were to make some space in this army, we could actually transfer the construction of... Out of curiosity. Yeah, but you're already going to take a long time to build what's here. I don't think we should transfer construction. I was thinking of taking some of the stuff that we were building out here in the Haunted Forest and building it here instead. But, nah, the Wild Hunt will come back up by that time anyway. So I think we're okay. Or at least I'm going to assume that we are. So, unassigned skill points, building upgrades available, damage building ignored. That's just the outposts. Hero not moved. It's probably Dulas. Yeah, that's fine. Outpost available with Reichland. Probably not one that we care about right now. We do care about the Yvress one, and that's the one that's being built. One other thing. Minus 15, that's probably not gonna happen. Even though you lost your capital, you still don't... Okay. We really need these guys to be friends since they own all the heathlands associated with the, and with the guy in Vale, or at least most of the heathlands. Which places count as this? Sarwar, Unicorn Gate, Phoenix Gate, and really 2 gates count as heathlands? Okay, that's kind of interesting. Skip, and turn. Let's say Baronair decides to attack Orion. While he's in march stance, probably the best chance that he's going to have. Though, since this is a spawned army, I'm not entirely sure that it actually can physically attack anything. Nagaron wants peace, but we do not. No reason to do that for us at the current time, or probably ever. Granted, there's a few Dark Elven units that would actually work fairly nicely with our units as well, but I just don't see it happening. We're too unfriendly at this point, unfortunately, since we had to declare war on like all the Wood Elves, and hey, underway interception, nice, and it is with Death as well. It is a giant pile of gobos. I mean, we could fight them, but it's low casualties, it's an interception, and I feel like this might be... I mean, it is a full stack. I could reduce casualties, most likely. A lot of nasty skulkers, but their armor piercing is gonna be... Well, at 50 armor, it's about even with non-armor piercing. I don't know, do we fight this? Do we not fight this? Low casualties, to me, says it's probably a waste of our time. I'm just tempted. I mean, I guess we did technically just fight with this army. Yeah, fine. I'll resolve this one just because we already fought with this army. We could heal back up, but let's release captive since we're in our own territory for once. And thus healing a little bit. We are down to 122 factions on the map, which means less wars. Blue Vipers, Warrens of the Living Pools destroyed. Oh, looks like we're gonna have to declare war on these guys. Well, at least Itza will appreciate it. Creeping Death is destroyed as well. Hunting Hound, the hunt slumbers. Alas. Alright, and yeah, with every faction that falls now, it's going to be more and more difficult to keep up our total war reductions. You, Datan, I would like you to go to Paravant and defend against Sungrul's Stoneheart. I somehow doubt that he will attack, but we'll see. Findal, what can you recruit? We got a Hawk Riders, but they're super expensive again, unfortunately. That's a shame. And we've lost our 25% reduction. It was expected, mind you, but still a shame. Can you get any more Way Watchers? We can get more Sisters of the Thorn, which we will want. We can also get more Treekin, but for now, we'll hold off. Iskura, I would like you... Okay, wait, we should transfer these guys, but I guess we're waiting for the Zotes anyway, so it's not a big deal. You know what, since you're not recruiting anything right now, we're gonna move you out here, and we're going to have you take those troops next turn and then transfer them afterwards. I think that's what we'll do. Maybe jump over afterwards. Alright, and the rest of you just sit around. We're going to need to transfer you to... You know what, go to Crags of Findal. Like so, just so we don't take extra cost for those particular units. Anyway, Orion, looks like you did not get attacked, which means you're gonna head into Forest Call Stands. We're gonna get a nice big battle for you, which we've been wanting. Specifically for Orion. We have close victory, casualties medium. There are hell cannons and aspiring champions to be concerned with. The enemy lord is only tier or level 3 though, which shouldn't be an issue. Should be fun. Go. Alrighty, here we go. This will be a pretty fun one, I'd wager, as we've been waiting for a good solid enemy stack to send at Orion. We're going to start the battle off with Vanguard, well, half of our force, let's say Vanguard deployed. Orion and his heroes and the range units trying to focus down that Hell Cannon. The arrows of Ruinous will bring down the Hell Cannon itself. The crews are irrelevant and will now switch focus fire to the enemy Manticore, which is heading towards us, lit up by moonlight like a spotlight upon it. And it will attempt to land on Orion, but will actually break just before it does. In the meantime, our Wildwood got too used to those guys. Our wild riders, rather. There we go. Looking like they're doing pretty good. They did manage to charge through the woods there, hit the Hounds of Decay, an enemy Manticore, and some Chaos Warriors. They did their charge damage and are now going to back off with little damage done to them. And one of the Chaos Warriors with Halberds units as well as the Chaos Hounds of Decay pretty much destroyed. On the right flank, we've got a little bit of a range cav duel, or had a little bit of a range cav duel, as the Marauder Horsemasters were obliterated by the 3 units of Sisters of the Thorn, who are now going to focus down the Forsaken that were giving chase to them. Sisters of the Thorn pretty darn solid at doing this sort of thing, as they have the poison, they have the means to chase the enemy down and deal damage both in range and in melee. And, oh, camera went back for some reason. Sometimes it does that, not entirely sure why. Anyway, an enemy set of trolls attempt to charge our main line, but with the Hawk Riders hovering overhead and shooting their armor-piercing arrows into their backs, it was always going to be a dicey proposition. Our units of Glade Guards still in this army temporarily until we get better units to replace them that we're building now. We'll back away while we continue shooting at the enemies that we can reach. Our Sisters of the Thorn will move in to reinforce, while of course our Wild Riders move back into the fray once the enemy army has separated itself. And of course we've also got the Summon Eagle ability now, so we can send them to absorb a few hits for the Wild Riders and then allow the Wild Riders to charge on in. Here they surrounded armored Chaos Trolls and Forsaken and obliterated both, forcing them both to rout, though there is still a Chaos Lord and another unit of Chaos Warriors out there. The second enemy Manticore goes down and more enemy Marauders are heading their way towards us, but we have set up our units of Glade Guard once again, and the support still coming in from those Hawk Riders up above. Still using Orion's army as a sort of hybrid army. I mean, we've only just gotten rid of the Eternal Guard here, so I guess technically speaking, he's the only generalist army we have. It won't be that way forever, as obviously we're replacing him with all cav. But there will be other generals, and ooh, I love the color scheme on these aspiring champions. It's all red and gold. They actually look pretty darn fantastic. Or is the gold from the arrows smashing into them? It's kind of hard to tell. No, we got red and gold on the cloaks there and on the armor. Yeah, these guys look absolutely great. They're probably not having a great time, however, as they are getting focused down and are down now to about 30% of their HP. Very, very tough units to bring down in melee, but they have to actually close the distance and join the melee in order to do that. Shields up, but uselessly, as they will get brought down with armor-piercing shots to the back. Wild Riders will charge once again on into some Chaos Warriors. They've already gotten rid of, what, 3 of those units, as well as whatever supporting monsters the enemy had. And the Wild Riders certainly showing their domination of the forested areas of the map. The enemy lord attempts to make his way towards us, but it looks like his army will shatter and he will never get into combat. And indeed, we will stop him in his place with a Prey of Anathema and focus him down as well. Nice spear from Orion, and a couple more hits, and the enemy lord explodes in a pile of blood and gore. The units of Wild Riders and now the Sisters of the Thorn in melee as well will chase the remnants of the enemy down, and by and large, this army should be destroyed. Orion's still having a tendency to run out of ammunition, but he's still he hits pretty darn hard in melee as well, so I suppose it doesn't matter over much. Nice fight. Ooh, solid reward for this one, 4.9k and another 4.4k as well. In terms of kills and damage, at 122 kills and 29k damage, by the looks of it, a few bucks will be the one to win the day. And just comparing, the Sisters of the Thorn vastly outdamage the Glade Guard, which, well, let's face it, isn't too surprising. Also, since we've changed turns, I'd just like to double check Athel Loren. Yeah, it's -5 now, it's a little better. 16k for it, though. Oh, but we need them to grow this. You know what, I'm not gonna pay them 16k. We're just going to try to transfer them, like, the Shrine of Kurnus. Although it feels like we should keep the Shrine of Kurnus out of all the places. But yeah. Should maybe try to take the Shrine of Cain for ourselves as well because of the post-battle loot increase. Gotta keep spamming that, as that's where, ooh, Firebark Elders, and ooh, Wild Hunters of Kurnus. I can never finish a thought. I forgot what I was talking about, but yes, good stuff, good stuff. The Hunters are for Orion, and the Firebark Elders are for Durthu. Auto-resolve. This better not damage us. It's gonna damage us, isn't it? Aren't you, auto-resolve? No, it's fine. Take the release captives. We're going to grab Guy and Vale for ourselves. Acolytes of the Keeper destroyed, and that's another faction we're not at war with. 7.1k to re-up it, but, well, what are you gonna do? 6 turns just to get it back up to tier 1. Alright, we cannot really afford to lose the place, so we'll have to be careful. Also, Orion, you're stuck here, so you may as well clean up the donut, since the Asur cannot do it themselves. Without Imric, they're lost, let's face it. So, the Azrai are here to save the day. Deluric, your stuff is to be transferred to Elendelling, because she's going to lead our cavalry army. And Durthu, and our Doomheimer. Alright, fine. Let's take A&R Doomheimer, shall we? Go to Middenheim. Ooh, I do see Festus is nearby. And Valiant Defeat, we'll see about that. We have no enemy air units. This is a walled settlement, but it doesn't have the wall building. We will take Elendelling to reinforce. We have no way to destroy the enemy towers, but we can move you here. You shouldn't get intercepted because there's nobody nearby. And Deluric, I would have loved for you to do the same, but it looks like you're not quite in range, so you're going to have to march stance and therefore potentially take damage. Go here. We'll send Zoltathios back to Lorelorn, just in case we need to defend it. I'm hoping that that won't be the case, but why risk it? Alright, you're gonna go back there. Durthu, you're gonna fight in a sec, but let's see what else needs to be done this turn. So, we did intercept this. Those guys didn't take Migdal von Galbarak, even though it was free, because the AI is wacky. And I see that Vlad has defeated Elspeth's army and is liable to retake Castle Drakenhof. I guess the question is, how many armies do we need to send southward to deal with this? Also, how much are you willing to pay us now for peace? 8.2k still, huh? Almost tempted to take it. I feel like none of our guys are gonna be down here for the next, what, 10 turns. 8.2k. I wonder how much of a loss per turn that'll be for a single time. Also, a few of the other factions might not like us piecing out with them either. Oh, they are at war with these guys as well. I'll think about it. For now we got other stuff to do, so let's see. Loren. Right, where are we gonna send you? We could have you sack this place, but I'd rather have you move on to Barag Dawazbag, to be honest. Alright. Nath, we're gonna have you... Actually, not occupy this with Loren to reinforce. Oh! We've got a decent pile of troops. Alright, both of you then. We'll move you next turn, I guess. And just because I don't want to fight this. This better not heavily damage both of them, or I'm gonna be very spaghetti. Alright, into encamp, and into encamp. That should... Decisive victory, I don't see anybody dying. Let's see how much damage we take doing this. 24. A little bit better. Alright, occupied at least for now. decent likelihood we'll trade it away. Hey, we got another war banner. Naeth, you do not need that war dancer drummer, but we will be giving that to our war dancer army relatively shortly. And Daeth, can either one of you reach Barag Dawazbag? Actually, both of you can reach Barag Dawazbag. In fact, you could go further. Or we could send you around, loop you around to have you take Barag Var, which is very sparsely defended. Huh. Furs don't give us anything special, right? No, not really. What is Heathland? Will generate us a little bit of money.
Can I offer assistance?
I will think about it. Frankly, I'd prefer the other factions to hold the territory, because obviously we can't really hold these. But anyway, for now, Nath, you're going to stay here. Daith, I guess we're going to have you take Barag Dawazbag. It is defended by a full stack. We'll have you both work together on this. And then you could both move down to Barag Var and Dokkaraz at the same time. Alright, fine, we'll do that. You go here, you can come in as a reinforcement in Forest Call stance and go further. This is a Pyrrhic victory, but we'll make it a little bit easier with reinforcements. Necessary or not. At least this way we can clear out the bloody hands a little bit faster. We will fight in a second, or should we fight right now, because Durthu also has a fight. Which one do we want to do? Let's do Durthu because it's a siege, I think. And we'll continue taking a look at other stuff. Ooh, wait. I want to see if we got any capacities of tech thieves available now. No, still no. Crying shame. I do want to check out Lords, though. Wildwood Vigor, Fae Fire, Vanguard, Wildwood Drummer, terrible. Verdant Venture, and Thorn Majesty. Where's that darn War Dancer thing?
How can I assist you?
Hopefully we'll get it. Eventually. At least we got Shadow Dancers coming up next turn. Anyway, Durthu, time to strike, my friend. I'm not going to bother leveling Deluric. I think we don't need it. A Pyrrhic victory, but we'll see about that. Yeah, actually, before we start, yes, we reached the engagement threshold, so hour-long episode, and the engagement threshold still stands. 400 likes and 60 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well. Go. Alrighty, and Durthu back in action once more, and once again, it's almost as if the sky itself is bent to Durthu's will, as he seems to get the sort of a reddish, orangish, brownish colored sky every time he's on the field, and it matches his color scheme every time. I'm sure it's a coincidence, or just by virtue of the fact that we've been fighting in sort of similar areas with Durthu for a little while, but it's still nice to see, and doesn't he look great marching towards the enemy? I'm sure even the demons will learn to feel fear as this Elder of War marches towards their walls and begins to batter them down. Durthu, like some of the larger monsters, can attack walls, and so we don't really need artillery when we can just do this. Plus, as he's close to the wall, he can activate the Sword of Death and Flock of Doom and do a nice 11k damage before we even get into combat. Alright, a couple more blows to the wall, and said wall will be brought down. The Chaos Warriors above toppling to their deaths, and the kills aren't registered to Durthu, and neither is the damage, which is kind of interesting, but that's a solid, I don't know, quarter of 2 units and destroyed there, so too bad it isn't registered. Oh well, not a big deal. Our reinforcements are moving in as well. We have sent the spear riders off field because they won't be needed here, and Durthu will wade into the fray by himself, knocking out the first of the Hounds of Decay and just waiting for whatever Chaos Warriors are brave enough to meet him in battle. He'll cast another Flock of Doom and swing the Sword of Death at the first of the Chaos Warriors as he calls for his Treekin to march on in and aid him. Not that by the looks of it he needs it, at least at the current time. Just need to get him some regeneration. I don't think he has any regeneration going for him. Granted, we have as much life bloom as we want out of the branch wraiths in his army, so there is still that. Anyway, the treekin are moving in now, and I do believe the branch wraiths have joined the fray here as well. We do have Helm of Discord available on one of them, and the Penumbral Pendulum should the enemy blob up enough around us. A single breach will, I think, serve to help out with that, especially as the enemy will be forced to blob around here, and there we go, a nice Penumbral Pendulum through their lines. We've also set up our units of ranged cav over here, as it was faster to maneuver them to the side, and all the Glade Riders and Sisters of the Thorn will be firing over the wall and either onto those units that remain on said wall or at the units that are surrounding Durthu and attempting to dish out damage. How successfully, though? Probably not so much. We are going to be spamming Shield of Thorns here. Good thing about this sort of Death Star formation that we've got going. The treekin are already insanely tanky, and so is Durthu. We just keep popping Shield of Thorns on them, resisting the missile fire of our allies, and also reflecting some of that damage as well. What I'm saying is, I don't think the enemy has a prayer, especially as we have plenty of the Shields of Thorns available. 3 from our branch rates, and if that weren't enough, or if we didn't have enough mana, we could also cast it from the Sisters of the Thorn. So it's all working out quite nicely. Anyway, Durthu has done plenty of damage to the enemy Chaos Sorcerer there, who's down to about a third or a quarter of its HP, is continuing to cast those Flocks of Doom and towering over the enemy. Demon and Mortal Chaos Follower alike, all will be brought low by the wrath of the forest. And quite quickly, I would wager, as the balance of power has already shifted to about 90%, the range units are having a little bit of a difficult time even finding enough targets that aren't being hit by the treekin, or at least aren't blocking the units. I love that animation where, well, not just Durthu, because the treekin, or treemen rather, share that animation, where they pick up an infantry unit and crush them with its root legs. Or leg roots, whatever. Oh, it's pretty solid. Anyway, Glade Riders continuing to hose the enemy down with arrows, and by the looks of it, doing decent work. Durthu's up to 79 kills and 64k damage. And very solid. Gotta love that area of effect, Sword of Death and Flock of Doom. And of course, we haven't really invested in Durthu's spell tree or really fighty tree as yet, and he's only going to get stronger with time. And we do intend to get him some treemen as well in here, so that'll make him strong, even stronger. Anyway, we got a Chaos Sorcerer who's decided to join the fray as well, A&R Doomheimer. But I think the only doom to be found here is his. That's a scary sight. Although that effect is kind of blocking some of the vision, but it's alright. The bounce power's at about 95% in our favor, and I think a couple more casts, a couple more arrows, a couple more swings of that sword, and the battle will be ours. Every time Durthu strikes Nurglings and mortals and go flying, looks like the enemy lord has decided that this is pointless, as I think maybe one treekin has died rather, if even that. Durthu continues marching forth, heedless of the arrow rain coming down. He'll pop a Lamentation of Despairs on the enemy, but by the looks of it, unfortunately they will miss. They did look cool, but they don't bring the enemy lord down. It's not really meant for a single unit. I just wanted to see if we could bring it down, but all good. And it looks like only the demons remain now, so a couple more swings, or wait, a couple more moments, I suppose, and the last of the enemy units will melt away. There's that animation I was talking about. Ooh, and the stomp as well. And there we go. I do believe with that, oh no, there's still a spawn of Nurgles thing there. Yeah, they're fairly tanky. Almost surprising that the spawn of Nurgle have managed to outlast the beasts of Nurgle there, but, well, they won't be outlasting them for too much longer. And our Treekin is still nicely blobbed up, acquiring that Earth Blood healing and all of that, Shield of Thorns meant that they were just fine, and we didn't need to use like 80% of our army. Alright, very nice. Though, let's face it, without range units available to them in that defense, that was never going to go well, especially with Durthu sort of front and center through the breach. He could have actually spent a lot of his time just breaking all the walls down with the Sword of Death and just walked everybody through the breaches as well, but there wasn't any need as they blobbed up around him, allowing him to use his active Sword of Death ability plus Flock of Doom and rack up a solid 167 kills and 85,000 damage. Very nice. Alrighty, and we will... clearing the Heathland does give us a little bit of cash. What is this? I mean, we could sack it and then occupy it right after. Oh, but then we won't... actually, would we still get... just occupy it, whatever, I don't care. Alright, Young Stag, another Obsidian Trinket. That means we got 2. That means Obsidian Trinket fuse into... Scroll of Stone, I'll take it. Also, Scroll of Blast and Channeling Staff, let's fuse you into Obsidian Lodestone. The other 2, frankly, should have fused into those. We can keep the Spell Shield and the Potions of Toughness. Maybe keep the Shrieking Blade for now as well. We do have that other Helm of Discord that I did want to give to the... Okay, Elendilling, you don't need this. We'll give Elendilling some stuff afterwards. Trelawn, you definitely don't need a Hawk Companion, as you get no benefit from the range. Tolteran has a Hunting Hound, and I just don't care enough to remove it. Alright, so, Durthu. We'll give you, with that Grove Guardian's trait, giving... Alright, so Grove Guardians only gives Frenzy to Treekin, and Durthu does favor Treekin a little bit more than he does Dryads, but wait. Let me just see here. Alright, back to Durthu, back to you, Kent. So, Eldest of the Ancients gives us Resplendence of Luminescence for all Treekin, and Annoyance of Netlings for all Treeman, but nothing for Dryads. He does directly buff Dryads via armor, but that also buffs the rest of his units. This gives us just a 10% ward save for Treekin. Skewering Branch does give us armor-piercing weapon damage for Dryads, but also for Treekin as well. And Dryads are more of a Draika thing. We could go for Oaken Hearts to get that Vigor Loss reduction. We don't really care about the Rain of Spines. Maybe Bow Warden? Maybe Bow Warden. Now, let's get Bow Warden for now. We should probably max out Durthu's unique trait before... hit points, and you know what? Let's get Dark Spirit as well. That's pretty solid. Yeah. But yeah, Durthu's a pretty darn powerful fella, so hardly surprising what he can do. Frankly, lore-wise, I'd personally put him for quite a bit more powerful than Orion, especially if he were to lose his madness. If he loses his madness, he's basically a god, so yeah. Especially if Coadil were to, you know, go away. Anyway, Deluric. What do you have? You still have the Warden of the Wheel. You do have a free Dwellers Below available. I'm gonna say let's get that. Even if you are acting as support currently, frankly, you've leveled up decently, and now I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll keep ya. Potentially. Get you Weaver of the Winds for now, and just get you Loix Blessing. Get you all of those. You guys are going to take attrition, but there is nothing we can do about that. You should not be able to reach Loren. You might be able to reach Middenheim, but I don't think we care. Collect the income. I mean, I guess build the foraging... Well, we might need the money for other stuff. I'm not so sure that we want to build the foraging groves or not. We'll leave it alone for now. Let's see what else we have to do before we go on. So Loren and Nath are going to well, not Nath, Dave. Oh, it's gonna get confusing. Are gonna attack Iskura. I don't remember who you are. Oh, you're just sort of temporarily carrying the the war dancers around. That's fine. Dare talk. We could do something with you. We might see what's going on at the forest encounter here. You are a caster, technically speaking. And, oh, this is going to count as trespassing. That's a bit unfortunate. Go right to the edge of this territory. Oh, they won't like that. In fact, they kind of don't like us whatsoever. Oh, no, we might have to fight Nikai. Huh. And we currently have a non-aggression pact with Nikai as well, and he doesn't dislike us. Alright, well, we'll figure it out. We'll see. Otherwise, it might take too long to get this Heathland up and running. Well, I suppose if we get the... we get this thing, it's +1 per turn at tier 2. Although it doesn't matter at tier 3, right? Until tier 3, rather. Alright, well, we'll deal with you in a second. Tech Thief, you need to actually succeed at stealing tech.
Fear the wrath of Athel Loren.
And steal tech and success. Ooh, you lucked out. That would have been 3 out of 3, and you would have become Beledna the critical failure. Specialists into steel tech. What are we at now? Still 160. Huh, I guess the trait that you gain doesn't come into effect until next turn, which is a bit of a shame, but whatever. Scout. What do you have again? You have Arahane. Okay, well, ignore. Oh, you're wasting this Hawk Companion. We could put that somewhere else because you're just here to scout. I'm wondering if there are any AI factions even left up here, as in ones that we aren't aware of. Frankly, there's probably not a lot of factions we aren't aware of at the current time. And we know all of these guys. We've met Zatan, or at least we've declared war on all of these factions. We're at war with you. We're at war with everybody we can see. I think the scout no longer serves a purpose. I think we know most of the factions, diplomacy-wise. Yeah, alright. We'll delete you just to get the increased capacity. You're not actually costing us anything. How's the capacity looking right now?
The waker of trees.
We need somewhere where we can build Waystalkers, so we're at 7 out of 6. So if we delete 2, we can start milling through traits until we get a good one, potentially again. Which certainly does have its appeal. Alright, we'll probably need to build some buildings as well, but let's give it a minute. I think that's all we have to do unit-wise. Findal, you wanna move these eagles anywhere? I mean, technically they're supposed to be in a different army than these eagles, so no. In fact, I know it's gonna cost us a little bit, but I'd like you to move.
Communing with the land.
I'd like you to move so that you can get these units, or at least some of these units, a teensy bit earlier. And then you can go past this. Wait, go right. Okay, never mind. Never mind, can't move you. Alright, let's check out building. Let's see what we got. Oh, lord, that's a lot of available stuff. Varenka Hills, we don't really care about your public order. Frankly, none of these outposts, we really care about them right now. We might keep a few of them, but, you know, we'll see. Athel Loren Forest, you are waiting for the stuff that actually costs, the stuff that actually costs growth, so that means we won't be able to get you on field for a little while. Forest of Gloom, we can upgrade you to tier 3, but at the current cost, I'm gonna say let's hold off on that. And you're kind of in a similar situation where you want to build these up, as well as that Roots of Gairan for the Spell Singers, if nothing else, for the additional research. But for now, I guess you're waiting. Jungles of Qian, you're in the same situation as well, where you're just waiting. Vidrioth and Crags of Findal. Right now, you can start upgrading your main buildings like so. You can also either build the Firs here, or we could ignore it completely and go for the Roots of Gairan instead. And I'm going to say Roots of Gairan. Yes, it doesn't make us money like the Grapevines do, but frankly, the Tech Thievery is probably going to be more valuable anyway. So we'll do that, and we'll upgrade you as soon as we can afford to do so. Anyway, that was Torgavon. Did I do Talsyn? I did not. Let's upgrade your Pastures of Skymark. Haunted Forest, let's upgrade your Waywatcher's Perch to get additional Waywatchers. Vidrioth is now fine. Jungles, I checked the rest, I believe. Yeah, we're just waiting for additional growth. So, that means we've got another battle up ahead. Dave, once again, should we level you? I think we'll be fine with that. At least with 2 armies against one. This one will fight because, well, they've got more than a single stack. Granted, so do we, but should still be entertaining enough for our purposes. Go. Alright, here we go, fighting orcs once again, and we'll start off doing so with a nice vanguard deployment on their right flank and those arrows of Ruinous immediately off cooldown. It does look like the enemy wants to avoid our Glade Captains, and will send the Savage Orc Boar Boys as well as Wolf Riders directly at our range forces, but it does look like our Glade Captains do manage to screen our range units just enough to heavily damage the Boar Boys and send them packing. The distraction of the boars and the wolves does allow these spiders to make their way in, however without significant buffs, Forest Goblin Spider Riders are rather weak in terms of being able to dish out damage. I do remember them becoming very, very strong with sufficient buffs over time in my Grimgore campaign, but these guys aren't it, at least in terms of their stats, as yet. Now obviously the enemy has a stack and a half and we have 2 stacks, but since that's a little bit too much of an advantage, we're just going to use the 1. That should hopefully keep the battle still interesting. We have most of our Wildwood Rangers deployed waiting in the trees where they are going to feel most at home fighting. I do like this lighting scheme, works well for their color scheme as well. Alrighty, and of course these Spider Riders will route right through all of our hidden units. A little bit annoying, but what can you do? The Gobos continue to charge our range units, granted until the Wildwood Rangers and Wardens were revealed. That was the only units that the enemy could see, so it was what it was. Now, however, the enemy will most likely turn towards this little copse of trees, wherein we will hold back the tide of enemies. Looks like our range units are once again free and will continue firing away. We're going to back off our units of Lords and Heroes and continue to fire at the enemy. Since the enemy decides to move in a blob, we'll fire away at the enemy trolls. Looks like knocking at least a few of them down with the arrows of Ruinous, and any units that miss them will have smashed into the enemy lines. The enemy melee blob, and it is truly a blob this time around, has made its way forward, and the fight has begun in earnest. The Wardens of Sithral will lead our Wildwood Rangers and Wardens in the fight. We'll activate our smoke bombs to prevent the enemy from getting a good charge in, and this big old blob will be held back for as long as we can. I suppose that one nice thing about not having a caster yet in this army, because we don't have capacity, is that we are able to essentially enjoy the sort of brawling aspect of these units. Let's face it, if we had a high-level caster, we just cast a couple spells through this and the entire blob of enemies would have simply melted away. Though I do have a bad tendency, or a good tendency depending on how much you enjoy watching the brawls between units, to favor unit buffing spells over high damaging spells in blobs, simply because I like watching the units fight. And because I think it makes for a better viewing experience. Certainly I will occasionally draw big ol' spells, but I do also love to give a chance for the units to fight. Anyway, our reinforcements have arrived on the field. They're not really going to help, with the exception of firing upon enemy trolls that are escaping and destroying these little units that have decided to flank. They were trying to get around our army this entire time, only to come upon the reinforcements and get absolutely ripped apart by an entire full stack of ranged. The rest of the enemy army is still very much in the fray, though they are getting hit in the flanks and rear now with more Wildwood Rangers, since the enemy decided to blob up so nicely for us. And we're going to surround them and hit them from every side. Of course, they do have those Savage Orcs to rely upon, and thus a lot of physical resistance, so it takes a little bit more effort to work through them. And I don't know what the heck the enemy was using that Gaze of Morcon, but well, it didn't seem to work out so well. Alrighty, it does look like our Wildwood Rangers and Wardens are starting to push their way through into the center of the enemy blob. There is still plenty of Savage Orcs left to attack, but the enemy will start losing its leadership over time. We did take a little bit of damage on Durthu there, despite us having 79 melee defense. Kind of impressive. Kind of impressive, but nonetheless, I still doubt it'll be enough. Alrighty, and with the exception of the Lord Loren, who will actually head on into the fight, I just wanted him to move towards the enemy Lord and stop him from casting. which we've done here. The rest of his army will continue to be kept away. Not that by the looks of it we need it, as the balance of power shifts to about 100% in our favor, and the enemy will shatter, and the battle will be ours. And it's not like the shaman was going to have any kind of chance dueling a lord who does look pretty solid on that eagle there as well. Wondering which, well, I do want to use lords with different mounts, and gotta figure out, ooh, chasing and firing at the enemy at the same time. Nice. And by the looks of it, he was trying to fire at the shaman, and it looks like he hit the shaman and killed a few spider riders. Very nice indeed. But anyway, the chasing is not super necessary, but, well. Alright, very nice, very nice. Look at all those numbers on the Wildwood Rangers. Once again, the Wardens of Sithrall did the best by the looks of it, but, well, with them being a regiment of renown, well, actually a few of the other units did manage to nearly catch up. So, pretty good. Regiment of Renown plus the Razor Standard, mind you. Did take a little bit of damage on Daith himself, and in fact, we'll give him a potion of toughness for him. But anyway, we're able to keep the battle interesting due to our... forget that Barag just ceded for now.
Can I offer assistance?
Yeah, probably should have just destroyed it. But anyway, well, he might trade it away. I should have just raised it. What was I saying before I interrupted myself and then promptly got confused? Alright, everybody's getting mounts today, which is lovely. By using one army, kept it interesting. Anyway, Diff, you leveled up a few times. We should get you the Wonders of the Forest, and let's get you some items as well. Now, what do you want? We don't want the Crown of Command. The Hail of Doom arrows are going to go to the ranged army because it amuses me. Potion of Toughness to you. Do we have a Fencer's Blade? Something that gives you a little bit more melee defense if you should go into melee. No. I guess we'll give Daith the Obsidian Blade. I mean, he is commanding a sort of melee-focused army, so it kind of makes sense. He doesn't have the Sword of Daith, which Durthu has, so... Anyway, these Swords of Strife maybe can go to his 3 Glade Captains, since they're all going to be fighting in melee. And yeah, technically they should go to Lords, but I like the sort of parallel nature of them all having the same kind of weapon. Obsidian Lodestones are for mages, which you don't have because we don't have capacity. We still need to give you armor of some kind, though. I mean, you don't have enough Armors of Fortune left. Loren has the other one, eh? Loren's less likely to be in melee than you, so I'll give this to you, and in fact, does Loren have the other potion of healing? Yeah, let's give this to you as well. What about talismans? Let's get you a talisman of endurance, and lovely. Lovely. Your legend grows. Back to you. Again, now we have Wonders of the Forest. We have Arrow of Kurnus. I guess we can start going through the red line now. Time to go for... Swinging Bows. Oh, and it does give additional melee defense to the Wildwood Rangers, which are also going to be really needed for the Blade Dancers. War Dancers and Blades, whatever. Let's see. Loren. You got plenty of move. I don't think that the ambush stance is going to be necessary, but go right to the edge of this territory and then stay in ambush, just in case. Why not? I still think we could take Barakvar and Doc Karaz and then probably raise everything around it. Like 90%. If we manage to get a defensive alliance with these guys going, then we'll probably just transfer them the territories. But if we don't, we'll ignore them. Then we'll keep them. Just gotta send somebody up to Carrick Dromar as well, since it counts. Oh, Karazakarai counts as well. Haha, there's actually not a lot of Heathland around here. It's just the fact that these things all have their trade goods that might actually make them worth our time. But anyway, I do believe that we are out of turn once again, so assuming that there's nothing to build, which we already checked, and therefore I don't believe that there are, assuming that there's nothing else to recruit, and I believe we have everything in the queue that needs to be queued up. More or less. We still do need to build additional Sisters of the Thorn. I suppose we could start on you. Wait, what are you building? You're building a couple of Blade Singers. Yeah, fair enough. We do need more Sisters of the Thorn, so I guess you can start on them. Go for it. Oh, they're so incredibly expensive. But what can you do? We gotta get our new armies up and running. You're nearly there. We got, what, 3 turns? 2 turns until the Zotes are ready. The Eternal Wardens already are, and we can transfer them to you. ASAP, we still need casters for everybody. Oh, spell singers. Yeah, we need capacity. We got 3 turns until we get 2 more, and then a few turns afterwards. Hopefully we'll build a few more of the Roots of Gyran buildings everywhere we can, including here. This place will also need defenders, but anyway, skip diplomacy, because we didn't check it this turn. Non-aggression pact with exiles, I don't care. Cathedral, though, we could do.
What do you seek from the
135 money? Yeah, sure. Wait, how much money for the trade agreement? 3,000? I'm gonna say no. They'll probably ask for it eventually anyway. Frankly, it benefits them more than it benefits us, which is weird. And the weird thing is that they don't want to do it because it, once again, it benefits them more. Nearly to Defensive Alliance, you. 822 will do it. Alright, and this gives us plenty of vision as well, but more importantly, it will give us Heathlands. Wait, we don't need to be in military alliance, do we? I'm pretty sure we don't. Just, yeah, okay, no. Defensive alliance is fine, so Gaian Vale is now maxed out in terms of growth, just lacking the additional stuff. We'll take out Nakari with Orion. It does make sense, especially since he has defiled the Shrine of Kurna, so we'll take that back, take back the Shrine of Cain, help out here a little bit. I don't know whether we'll have time to do it with Orions, because we might send another army, but we might also send an army up here to help Alethanar out. And just basically create barriers of allies around all of our trees, because the big battles of this campaign, let's face it, aren't going to be against other factions. They're going to be against the massive armies that spawn when we pop each of the rituals, especially since the armies, unless I'm mistaken, they're either tied to your strength or tied to the number of turns or something like that. All of these armies, like the one that we saw spawn from Norska, are going to be quite strong, so we do got to be prepared for it. Anyway, end turn. I didn't check the Confederation, did I? That's too late now. Oh, we also gotta kill some Skaven armies. 3,000? No. We gotta find some Skaven to kill. Fortunately, there are plenty of Clan Moors running around. Clan Rictus is plentiful. Not like you're ever gonna run out of rats, or at the very least, that's difficult to do so without trying real hard. And I think we just dropped by another faction. Stop exploding, you cowards. And alright, what did I just say? Overlords of Jarduk destroyed. Ella begins outpost construction. Skura, good. Next up, Ugrol Stoneheart did not run away. But at the same time, alright. See how we do this. You are going to grab Zote and both the Eternal Wardens. I think that's it for now. No, not you. You are going to transfer them to Daltan.
I weave the living forest.
Like so. Army not complete, but certainly getting there. Daltan, you're going to go right here, and you're not going to chase after them because they will run away. You're going to try an ambush. We'll see if they try to go for Paravon, whether they think that it's too strong. Hopefully not. Alrighty, then you, Skura, are going to go to Wara, and you're going to take the Great Forest Eagles, which will eventually be replaced by dragons, as well as the Shadow Spellsinger. Though, funnily enough, the lack of armor and general fragility of the War Dancers probably means we'd be better off using... Oh no, these guys share traits? Oh, that's not good. Oh, damn, Chillblade. Speed minus 20%, melee attack minus 5 for all units in range. That's fantastic. Gotta get more of these Shadow Dancers. Yeah. Okay, now we really need more capacity. How the heck do we get more capacity? Oh, damn. I did not think that the Shadow Dancers would share capacity, but I should have realized it because they're in the same sort of tree. That's not great. That's not great. We're gonna need a lot more. Well, what are you gonna do? We got Hawk Riders and Sisters of the Thorn available in greater numbers. We should also have Way Watchers available. They're starting to cost money again. Can't say I like that. Alright, how about the Spell Singers? It's still 3 out of 3. We're getting there. Eventually. Someday. Loren. And Death. Oh, you can't reach Dark Caress from here? You can reach Iron Rock, which I guess we can raise with you, and then Durin can hit Dark Caress. Nath, I guess you're going to get back to Forest of Gloom. You're supposed to transfer stuff anyway. Yeah. Alright, fine. Go to the Forest of Gloom. I mean, it's gonna be, what, 4 more turns while the hunt slumbers, so I guess you could still help out, but the thing is, Dave can move a lot further than you can. Let's raise Iron Rock. I wonder how much Black Crag is worth raise-wise. Alright, I'll resolve this. A little bit of damage, but at least they can take it, and raise, and then oh, you went the wrong way. Well, too bad. And another War Banner for us. Go into ambush stance, I guess. Loren. You're gonna go into whatever stance, you're gonna hit Dark Corrals and you're gonna occupy it. May as well do a little bit of that salt trading. Auto-resolve. Now the auto-resolve's not screwing this army, or at least not in this particular turn. Seed it. Ugh, tempting to raise. Lovely. Salt Expert, Courageous, Dryad Spy, another War Dancer, Drummer, which I don't believe you personally need, though the new army will certainly need it shortly. Charm Shield, not for you, will probably transfer to somebody else. Katra... This is the other Katra. You have that range. Yeah, fine, keep it. Young Stag, that's fine as well. Ooh. Okay, before I forget, because I absolutely will forget. Oh, Noctilus, please don't be sailing by all the others and going for Guy and Vale. I would not be surprised whatsoever if he did. But anyway, what we want to do is we want to get one of these young stags in every hero in this army, since we're going to be fighting Nakari. Young Stag. Young Stag. Orion, do you have a Young Stag? You do not. Well, we can't be replacing that Hawk Companion. I guess we'll get rid of the Hunting Hound, because there's nobody to intercept here anyway. Like so, then... You cannot adopt World Roots while garrisoned? I'm like 100% sure you can. I think we can't adopt it while we're in Ulthuan, actually. Just to double check, I'm not crazy. You can absolutely adopt it while garrisoned. Yeah, it's the game being crazy. Alrighty, now. We could try and go for Festus. I have a feeling he'll run. But I suppose Wulfric the Wanderer is nearby anyway, so I feel like we should still go up here. Still got a lot of heathland to reclaim for Lorelorn. Oh, speaking of heathland, and just tree growth in general. Now, what the heck is going on here? Clan Treechik rebels outside of Scrap Towers. I don't like that. What is that? 84. Nearly there. Well, maybe not nearly, but close. Alright, this. Alright, we might attack that in a bit. Depending. I forgot what I was gonna do. Alright, so you are in ambush, you're waiting... Alright, back to you. I guess we're just gonna march stance up here, and we're just going to hope that... okay. We can go past the gate and we'll be fine. And we're just going to hope that Noctis isn't going for the guy in Vale, because if he is... Well, I suppose we could send another emergency army down there. Anyway, we'll ignore Tor Anlik, and I guess we'll head directly for Shrine of Kurnus. Although I suppose we could go for the Shrine of Cain first. Maybe that would be better. Oh, actually, Tor Anlik, by the looks of it, might actually be worth a decent amount of money for sacking and or raising it, so maybe we will go for it after all. Durthu and Lurik. Can you guys take Festus? I'm sure his army might be a bit tough. And nonetheless, here's what we'll do. We'll see. Let's see what he does. You are going to go here, into range. We are not going to send Elendelling, because 3 armies is definitely not something he's going to deal with. And then we'll send Durthu directly. Oh! The Nemesis Crown. I mean, Durthu is kind of mad. I forget exactly what it does. Oh, right, the diplomatic relations -20 with all factions. That's not great. Especially because there's some stuff that we want. Granted, it'll power up Durthu, but I feel like that's not worth it. It's too much of a It's too much of an issue, and let's face it, at the same time, issue or not, we can handle total war with everybody, so that hardly matters. Ooh, trades with Kathik and Ivres. Ivres, we've been waiting for this, so we'll do that. And in fact, you can give us 36 money for it. And nobody else wants to trade right now. Yeah, we need more trade resources to get more trade agreements going, because it'll be a big portion of our income, since our regular income is kind of having a tough time. Military access for you, yes. Sure, why not? Exiles of the heck, no, we're gonna attack you shortly. Visenland and Nolan and still no Confederation. Yeah, I really gotta get on getting Heralds of Ariel to join us. I feel like it'll be faster just go down to Clan Moors with one of these armies. Since they're nearby, we'll just raise our way across the Badlands. We still need to get rid of the Bloody Hands anyway. Yeah, anyway, let's see if Festus is willing to fight. It doesn't really matter over much whether he does or he doesn't, which we'll see in a second. What do you want? Yeah, so you guys can only have Call of the Woods, correct? Flurry of Bows, physical resistance during forest battles. You know what, let's go Shield of Isha, because this should in theory be a forest battle if it actually happens. You are maxed out and you can get Shield of Isha, and you are not maxed out. You can get 2 points in Shield of Thorns and wait for the rest. Lovely. Durthu. Do this. See what happens. See if he stays or if he goes. Draco's taking our gig. Nah, it's gonna run. That's fine. That's fine. And the reason that that's fine is we can pop into a Masterful Ambush stance and maybe try to bait him into attacking Deluric here. And Deluric is healing as well. Ellen Delling. Try to have you take this. Let her get a plague, though. There's basically nothing there. Oh, actually, I got some decent defenders. Probably won't be able to auto-resolve. You know what, stay here in Middenland then, or Middenheim. Well, it is Middenland, you know what I mean. Yeah, stay here. I'm also going to be trading troops. Siltathios, hang around. If that didn't happen, is there another possible battle that we got? Frankly, we are kind of out of time, but if we can do one more fight somewhere... Skura, Findel, you can't move, and I would like you to recruit... Oh, Skura, yes. Well, you're going to need to be taking a lot of troops, but you can't do so right now, so in fact I'm going to trade them right back, minus you, to save on a little bit of cash. Assuming you don't recruit any other things. Ellen Delling, we already checked. Zaltathios, Dare Talk. Oh, Dare Talk is the other option. Also Tech Thief, before I forget you. Go tech some more Thief, or Thief some more tech. Lost Cargo's gonna go soon, so that'll be growth lost as well as income, which is a bit unfortunate. Alrighty, let's see what we're looking at over here. Jungles of Qian. What kind of stuff do we have? This army's really basic, but it does have a couple of Malevolent Treemen, a couple of Forest Eagles. Should be okay. Go Forest Calls. Sorry, Lizards, you're gonna get upset about those, but there's nothing much we can do about it. Let's see what's in this forest encounter. Alright, what do we have here? Unhappy Tree Spirits versus Abundant Growth. Gotta go with the Abundant Growth. Ancient Cult Punished. Ancient Corruption +4 all provinces. A little bit annoying. You will face a foe in battle. Yeah, we'll face a foe in battle. Demons rampage through the sacred jungle, summoned by its ancient cult for undoubtedly malevolent purposes. This cannot be allowed to stand. The damage they could do would be irreparable. Yet many worry that the military effort it would take to repel them may prove too dangerous for our people. No. Alright, let's see what we got here. Ooh. That's a solid stack. Oh. Huh. I'm slightly concerned about this. Huh. Oh, well, what are you gonna do? Not like we care about anything in this army except the Malevolent Treeman and possibly the Malevolent Dryad. The rest of the stuff is kind of expendable. That's actually a really nice fight. Let's see. Let's see how nice it is. And this is what I'm talking about, these armies being much stronger than the well, armies that the other factions nearby can provide. Go. Alrighty, ooh, and once again a Cathay map means we're going to get some great lighting here, and I love the way that the ancient treemen sort of match the foliage around. It's very nice. Anyway, as I had started to say, or I had intended to start to say perhaps, but didn't actually, though we fought 2 greenskin armies this particular episode, I think it's more of a chaos-centric episode. We fought a massive undivided army, we fought a Nurglite force, and now it's time to fight Tzeentch as well. Plus, I'm excited to see what the malevolent treemen here can do with their frenzy, and just looking fantastic. Gotta love the purple sort of treeman, treekin, dryad, forest spirit models. Anyway, looks like the enemy Knights of Tzeentch will attempt to charge forth, or did attempt to charge forth. I decided to attempt to countercharge them with all 3 treemen, but they decided to stop their charge in order to, by the looks of it, avoid them. That's alright, we don't actually care about the Chaos Knights so much as we care about the enemy flamers, which are definitely going to be the targets here. Got to destroy all the flamers before they do massive amounts of damage to us. And as we know, flamethrower units aren't just threatening to blobs of units, but to any kind of unit, really. And I'm willing to bet that the damage that our ancient treeman Durthu has taken so far was primarily due to the enemy flamers, and not yet to those Chaos Knights. But that's just fine. The 2 malevolent treemen have joined Durthu, and it's nice to see them working here. Otherwise, I mean, we still have to wait until we reach tier 5 to get access to these units, so the fact that we confederated some of them, well, that certainly makes me happy. I guess we'll keep them in Durthu's army for now. Once again, I do intend to eventually give them to Draika, but, well, who knows when we'll be able to confederate her. Anyway, the 3rd and last of the enemy flamers is melting away, but it does look like some of the enemy units have reached our lines. Namely, the enemy had 4 units, or, well, yeah, 4 aerial units, 2 units of Screamers, and 2 units of Furies. We do react to that by keeping back a few of our Eternal Guard, who will hopefully be able to deal with the enemy Screamers. Our range units by and large are still firing away, and our Eagles have joined the fray to fight off both Fury and Screamer alike. Never underestimate the Eagles. Those who watch the Imric campaign will certainly be able to attest to that, and the Eagles make quick work of the Furies, and by the looks of it, are making quick work of the Screamers as well. Lovely. Out here, the Chaos Knights, led by the enemy Lord, are still holding and have a few other enemy units in tow, but the hidden units of Dryads, which we had kept back in this particular copse of trees, have sallied out and have now engaged the Exalted Pink Horrors in a melee. And the other unit of Chaos Knights is also being kept back by the Dryads, hopefully sufficiently debuffed by the forest, that it'll take them a while to work their way through said Dryads. Of course, the Dryads, or at least these Dryads, have no hope of damaging the Chaos Knights, but holding them back will suffice. Chaos Knights of Tzeentch looking fantastic as they always do. I also want to point out that the Exalted Pink Horrors are winning in melee against the Dryads. And because they are, we're going to send a little bit of help in as the Eagles have arrived, and will smash in to the Pink Horrors as well. And there we go. This should hopefully allow us to retreat our malevolent Dryads, as I don't want to lose the unit, as we don't have any way to build them ourselves. And they're just a little bit better than the standard Dryads due to their frenzy ability. Anyway, by the looks of it, the battle is nearly ours. The last of the enemy flyers, the Screamers here, have been destroyed by the other unit of Eagles. Showing some aerial supremacy against Tzeentch here. Otherwise, it looks like the main enemy line is still embroiled in a fight against the Treeman, Ancient, and Regular alike, but we do have Life Bloom available on our Ancient Treeman, and thus are able to constantly keep these 3 units up and fighting. Whacking away at the enemy with those sort of, I don't know, thorn claw whips that they've got. And doing so pretty effectively, I might add. The balance of power shifts to about, let's say, 90% in our favor. Looks like the last of the Exalted Pink Horrors are surrounded and about to be destroyed. Once again, getting a ton of work out of our Eagles here. And once they're done with these guys, they can head on in and start killing off enemy units of Cav, though by the looks of it they don't need to do so actively, at least not with the enemy fighting back, as the enemy army will shatter and at least attempt to run. We stop the enemy with the Befuddlement of Mischief's area effect or area ability that we have on Durthu. We still do have to destroy the enemy Chaos spawn here, but the rest of those units took significantly more damage while they were unable to run. We will also hopefully be able to arrow down the remnants of the Chaos Knights of Xinjiang. By the looks of it, this one will be killed to a man. And the Chaos Sorcerer Lord will now attempt to escape, looking pretty awesome, but, well, not for too much longer, I'd wager. Ah, nice model. A nice model indeed. But anyway, with the enemy army shattered, we will still have to give chase, as the enemy army, as we've learned from these forced encounters, will not and be completely destroyed. But, well, I suppose we can do the rest off screen right after we see the final blow delivered to the enemy Chaos Sorcerer. I wonder if he just dies or whether... Yeah, it looks like he just dies. I was wondering if he had any kind of fancy death effect, as some units do, like the Blue Scribes or something like that. But anyway, a lovely little fight. Frankly, we did better than I thought we did, but anyway. Alright, there we go. Very nice fight. Lovely to see the malevolent trees and the ancient treeman alike in action. We managed to pull it off without losing any of our units, and even though this was a random smattering of units we got from the Confederation, it worked out reasonably well for us. We're going to release the captives because we want the money. Also, 100 kills and 16.5k damage on one of the eagles. Never underestimate eagles, and not to worry, we'll have them in a couple of armies. Release. Lovely. Xinjiang cult destroyed. I guess that's another faction we won't be at war with. Hunting Hound for Durthu, gonna be killed in battle. Durthu, you switch to March stance, and that gets us right back into our jungles. There we go. They're not gonna be happy about the trespassing, but at least it's only one turn of it, so not so bad. Get you ever-reaching tendrils, and let's get you Life Bloom. You were already using your base version of Earthblood. And you are going to... I was about to say you are going to want some points, but frankly, we're probably going to reset you, because I feel like you probably shouldn't be wasting your point on Eye of Kurnus and should instead be using one of these. And there's a decent likelihood that I keep you, because I like the idea of the Befuddlement of Mischiefs and the cannot move that it applies, plus the lethal poison, possibly combining with other types of poisons. But anyway, with that, unless I'm mistaken, we're out of town. I'm going to have to call the episode here. Next time we continue marching southward in search of clan Moors and some rats to kill off in order to confederate the Sisters of Twilight, which hopefully we can achieve over the course of the next episode. I was going to name a bunch of things this episode. I'll do it next episode, I swear. I just didn't because I'm stupid, but also because I was having fun with all the battles that we were fighting. More battles to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. Oh, what the heck? What's going on here? I forgot what I was talking about. Likes, comments, threshold, good, glory, algorithm. Thanks for watching.